Now that all my students took their 2024 AP History tests, it's time to dive into writing a 2024 AP World History DBQ. What we'll cover here applies just as well to AP US History or AP European History DBQs. While the content may differ, the skills you'll learn are the same and will even help you tackle Blue Book exams in college. Today's session is based on the 2024 free response questions, Set 2, from the College Board website. Let's look at the prompt. Evaluate the extent to which economic motives were the leading cause of Japanese imperialism in the period circa 1900 to 1945. In simpler terms, this means how much were economic motives the most important cause of Japanese imperialism from 1900 to 1945? Always translate your prompts into language that makes sense. Remember, it doesn't matter if English is your first or third language, you all do not really talk or think like this in daily life. When you see this prompt, it's crucial to immediately go through what you remember to build context. The year 1900 stands out because Japan first attacked China in 1895 to take influence over Korea and control of Taiwan. This event in 1895, happening before 1900, is vital for setting the context. Why did Japan fight China for control over Korea and Taiwan? It was mainly for resources needed for industrialization, especially since they had been forced open by US Commodore Matthew Perry in 1868. After opening up, Japan eagerly learned about weapons and defense technology, which was essential after they had crushed internal rebellions. So, what were their major reasons for expanding into China, the islands, and even attacking America before and during World War II? 2. Primarily, Japan lacked natural resources and envied China and the islands for their resources. What do I come up with from all this history and context? Let's explore further. Japan attacked Qing China in 1895 to acquire power over the Korean Peninsula and Taiwan. This provided critical raw materials, workers, farmland, and strategic advantages. This is an early indication of Japan's motives for imperialism. Japanese imperialism from 1900 to 1945 was mostly driven by economic motives, as shown by Japan's need for resources and markets to fuel its industrial growth. This leads me to my body paragraphs, but also my follow-ups. I'm trying to paint in topic sentences, then give what evidence I have from the documents in support of them. And I want to flip documents that seem against me to be for me, just like what some of you guys do in debates, and then connect that to my thesis with explanations. Economic motives were evident early on. In document 1, the Tokyo Kizai Zashi editorial from 1903 supports Japanese businessmen's concerns over Russia's restrictive trade practices in Manchuria, which shows the threat to Japan's economic interests. Japan would attack Russia in 1905 for economic reasons. Similarly, document 5, an article by Elliot Janeway, talks about Japan's invasion of China as a bid to secure essential resources like coal and iron ore, critical for Japan's industrial and military needs. There was also an increased push of Japan to acquire markets for goods in China's Fujian province in this time period. Fujian and Guangdong were parts of the overseas push of China in the troubled late Qing dynasty, but they were also specifically sought as markets for Japanese finished goods. Political and strategic considerations did matter, as seen in document 4, where Kanji Ishiwara talks about the strategic importance of Manchuria for national defense against Russian and Western threats. However, these strategic goals were closely tied to economic interests, as control over Manchuria ensured access to resources and stabilized Japan's influence in Korea. This meant that Japan's markets to Korea were secured as well, just like how Teddy Roosevelt sent the Great White Fleet around the world to secure American markets just beforehand. Document 6 looks at the economic challenges faced by Japan, with Toichi Nawa talking about how Japan depended on raw materials and how it was a challenge to fully exploit China's resources due to financial problems. This shows the economic pressures that drove Japan's imperialistic policies. You can see me fade a bit in energy as I wrote this in the time limit, even as an experienced AP teacher, but I work to include the documents that I readily can, even those that seem to stand against my thesis. I want to deal with either a counter-argument or cover all 7 documents as best as I can. Sometimes my paragraphs drift a bit or get short too. What's important is to make the points so that the teachers who grade these tests can see them. The same would be true with a college exam. And outside of the documents, Japan's broader imperial strategy included the exploitation of Korea's farming and mineral resources after its full annexation in 1910. Chinese protection was gone, which further shows the economic cause of its imperialist ambitions. In conclusion, while strategic and political factors did matter, economic motives were the biggest driving force behind Japanese imperialism during this period. The pursuit of resources and markets to sustain industrial growth and national security was the most critical part of Japan's expansionist policies. If you write a counter-argument, it needs to be a back and forth that goes throughout your documents, just like a debate. All document-based questions, just like all long essay questions, are opinion essays at the core. How you write and support your opinions is what matters most. I hope this helps a bit, and I'd like to thank the subscriber who suggested it, 1C43K11Jiang. Comment how well you did if you wrote this one, or if there's other material you'd like me to work through, share with your classmates. Like the video if it helped you, and subscribe for more AP history.